Today is our first opportunity to examine the administration's policy toward China and how such a policy is aligned with our overall approach to the region. This hearing also gives us a forum to better understand China's military buildup and activities where they're expanding their areas of influence around the globe, all of which have serious implications for the strategic posture of the United States. I'd also like to welcome our witnesses that the Chairman recognized, and thank you all for being here today. I look forward to your testimony and our discussion. As I review our policy toward China, it's my understanding that President Obama's team may follow an approach of strategic assurance as put forward by Deputy Secretary of State James Steinberg. This strategy is based on the belief that China cannot be contained, and therefore we, America, and the international community must accept its rise to power. In return, we seek China's reassurance that its stature will not come at the expense or security of other nations. For example, strategic assurance may be demonstrated in part via China's cooperation with the United States and other nations on matters of shared interest. In particular, within the last year, we've worked together in our handling of the global financial crisis, countering piracy off the east coast of Africa, and isolating North Korea for its persistent and aggressive nuclear and missile tests. While these are positive steps in our relationship, we cannot ignore the reality that China still falls short in the column of reassurance. Actions speak louder than words. Here are but a few of the examples. First, on Monday, China demonstrated its resolve to expand its strategic capabilities with a missile defense test. As of yesterday, we heard from the Pentagon that this test was conducted without advance notification to the United States. What are China's intentions for employing a missile intercept system? Once again, we're left in the dark to question China's commitment to transparency and cooperation. More concerning, this test comes at a time of tension over our arms sales to Taiwan. Is this test intended as an aggressive signal? Second, according to the latest U.S.-China Economic and Security Commission report, I quote, "There's been a marked increase in cyber intrusions originating in China and targeting U.S. government and defense-related computer systems, an activity that could potentially disrupt U.S. commercial and banking systems, as well as compromise sensitive defense and military data." And the chairman remarked about Google and the problem that they're having and where we're moving in that direction. Third, in March 2009, a Chinese naval vessel behaved in an aggressive manner towards the USNS Impeccable. Despite China's assertion of its rights within its maritime exclusive economic zone, this incident illustrates its willingness to violate international law and reflects increasing risks of China's expanding military operations in areas where U.S. forces routinely operate. Independently, these examples are a cause of concern, but more so when seen under an umbrella of marked uncertainty surrounding China's future course in terms of its military and security ambitions. I'd like to now turn to the neighborhood in which China resides. This brings me to the President's recent trip to Asia. While some see the U.S.-China joint statement as a significant accomplishment, from my view, we're merely left with a laundry list of issues that need to be worked out. Furthermore, I'm deeply concerned with the message we sent to our partners in the region. From Australia to India, the trip raised questions about who has the upper hand in the U.S.-China relationship. At a time when we should be focused on reaffirming our commitment to the region, we left many doubting the depth and breadth of American power and influence. For example, in its 2009 Defense White Paper, the government of Australia states, we also need to consider the circumstances of a more dramatic and, in defense planning terms, sudden deterioration in our strategic outlook. While currently unlikely, a transformation of major power relations in the U.S. Pacific region would have a profound effect on our strategic circumstances. Of particular concern would be any diminution of the willingness or capacity of the United States to act as a stabilizing force. I hope each of you will give concrete examples of what we're doing to alleviate these doubts. Finally, in just a few weeks, the Department of Defense will submit its 2010 Quadrennial Defense Review to Congress. Shortly afterwards, we'll receive the Nuclear Posture Review. In the 2006 QDR, the Pentagon noted that China was at a strategic crossroads and that it had the greatest potential to compete militarily with the United States. In its 2009 annual report to Congress on China's military power, the Department maintained that the pace and scope of China's military transformation continued to increase, fueled by the acquisition of advanced foreign weapons. Also similar to years past, it noted that China continues to develop and field disruptive technologies, including those for anti-access and area denial, as well as for nuclear, cyber, and space warfare. When we receive the QDR, I'll be looking closely at any changes to the Department's assessment of China. My fear is that we will downgrade the China threat in an attempt to justify last year's and future cuts to key defense programs. If the conclusion is the same as it was in 2006, then I expect the President's budget to invest in the necessary capabilities to execute our contingency plans in Asia. This is the type of strategic reassurance our allies need and is the key to stability in Asia. With respect to the NPR, we must be cognizant that any additional reductions in our strategic capabilities will only invite China to seek strategic parity with the United States. In closing today, we'll hear about the need for candid dialogue and improved engagement with China. As you know, we made changes to the Pentagon's annual report on China's military power in this year's defense bill to focus on those areas. While I believe that coming to the table is vital to avoiding misunderstanding and miscalculation, we must be mindful that it takes two to make a relationship work and that our priority focus must always be on protecting America's national security interests. This is truly a timely hearing, and we appreciate your appearance here this morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.